All right, and welcome to Fast Break Breakfast NBA podcast. My name is Keith Parrish, and I'm here once again with my buddy through the miracle of computer phone. You're with Dave DeFord. Dave, NBA Cup Day, how you doing?
I'm excited. I'm actually excited. I love knockout tournaments, so...
It's going to be in one of the games awesome, I'm pretty sure. Because we have Thunder Mavericks.
Yeah.
Thunder Mavericks, awesome. Those are two title contention teams in my estimation. And the extra added juice of it being a knockout scenario, a single game knockout scenario, we should see some amazing foul baiting. They are going to be taking dives like their lives depend on it. Lou Dort might kill somebody with a flop, like he did Brandon Ingram.
Most demonstrative flopper, I guess, for guards, right? Like you, no one takes
Brunson,
Embiid, right? Brunson is all right. Dort is going to throw a disc in his back with these
Brunson.
flops.
Is disgusting to watch. I've picked up some Knicks hate online. Brunson and Cat together, that's a hard watch, man. That is not beautiful basketball. Cat with the big silencer against the Raptors on Monday night. He needs coaching for his celebrations. It just comes across wrong.
I think everybody needs coaching.
Does everyone just needs some people just naturally, you're like, wow. Like LeBron's celebrations are always like spot on. That guy just looks impressive.
Yeah.
Carl doesn't have it.
No.
I think Anthony Edwards, great celebrations.
Really yeah.
Steph. So Draymond tried to do the Steph night, and it all right. For effort.
Shades of Angel Reese with Caitlin Clark in that championship game where she was kind of chasing her down. Do you remember that? She just wanted her to see it so bad. That's how I felt with Draymond. The dunk was awesome.
I
mean, it was awesome.
If I'm Gobert post game,
perfect back screen.
If I'm Gobert post game, I'm like, I would say something like, how soft of it having Draymond call for a screen in that situation. He wouldn't just play me straight up. That's what I would have done. No,
well,
but
he's got the best screener in the world out there. You know,
Brunson. This is like my, this is my pet peeve, the offensive foul rules in the NBA.
Oh,
Brunson tried to draw a charge. It's not even called a charge because the player didn't have the ball. He tried to draw an offensive foul on Isaiah Stewart, just while Isaiah Stewart was just like running down the court and like going in for a rebound. I'm not even sure Isaiah Stewart saw him. So it's a no call, but like, Brunson was furious. He didn't get the call for getting trucked by Isaiah Stewart. And this goes back to the thing we always say, and we'll have to move on so we don't fall into one of our ruts. Just play basketball, Jalen Brunson.
Right. He's so good.
He's so good. Just make your shots and blow past people and hit your pull-ups. No, Dort, too demonstrative with the flops. And he did, in fact, injure Brandon Ingram with the flop. I hate to see it. Shea and Luka going to be doing all kinds of foul baiting in this important game. My thoughts and prayers to the officials in the big NBA Cup game on Tuesday night. Also, by the way, there was a game in this there's a play in this Raptors game where Karl Anthony Towns is driving against Kelly Olynyk. Kelly Olynyk understands that Karl Anthony Towns is starting to put his shoulder down. So Olynyk does what any good defender does, which is desperately try to get out of the way. We've hit a point in NBA basketball where defenders are just desperately trying to get out of the way of the offensive players. Towns is now losing his balance, and he's desperately leading with his shoulder, hoping to make some contact to get the precious free throws. He does it and eventually step on Olynyk's foot. They both tumble awkwardly to the ground. Foul on Olynyk. Foul calls challenged by NBA rules. He stepped on the defender's foot, foul on the defender. What are we doing here? No, you were going to.
We got to change the free throw rules.
You were going to mention the Magic game.
Oh, it's just the Magic are such a bummer right now. You know, losing Franz on top of Paolo, and otherwise this would have been a really good game. I mean, the Bucks look so much better.
I mean, Franz averaged 31 points per game last week. He has already, like we've already spelled out, his scoring without Paolo has been incredible. The Magic have been incredible. Meanwhile, the Magic, they beat the Suns without Franz or
Well,
Paolo.
Gogzilla was out there.
Dude.
21 and 16, 9 offensive rebounds from my guy. Come on.
Including the game clinching.
He's been so good, man. He's been so good. People keep sending me screenshots of him smiling after plays.
Yeah.
They're like, his facial expressions are great.
I love it. So we have Bucks Magic, which is it's the undercard.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Bucks have bounced back. I'm not comfortable. I don't mean to always kind of criticize Damian Lillard, although it feels like I come back to this.
It's an easy target.
Well, the Bucks, totally respectable team. They got Chris Middleton back. I think the Bucks are one of the best teams in the East. That's been my position all year. I mean, after the first few weeks, I'm like, oh, are they really, really bad? But preseason, I'm like, yeah, this is one of the best teams in the East. But like, I saw a like, I don't know if it was NBA.com. Like, normally I don't care about people's like MVP ballots or even MVP rankings.
NBA.com might be the only place that's been doing the MVP ladder yet. Like, we always say it's too early to talk MVP, but they just did it like week 2.
They did it week 2. And I think they've changed this, but like Damian Lillard was like top 5. And I was like, what are we doing? Like Giannis was 2nd, and then Damian Lillard was like 5th. And I was like, that's 12 and 11 team has 2 top 5 MVP candidates. What are we doing here? But anyways,
I don't know.
It's the undercard. Yeah. I do think it's going to be exciting. I mean, who am I to continue doubting the Magic? Like, maybe they'll just shock the Bucks. Who knows? I'm not expecting it. But yeah, great NBA Cup day. But I guess we should start this NBA Cup day with some breakfast before we get too lightheaded. Dave, have you switched it up?
Not yet, but I think I'm going to soon. I'm still doing the pumpkin oatmeal.
Dave, I think we might
switch it up a little bit.
Maybe I should have done a little bit more background research on you before tabbing you as a successor here. Host of Fastbreak Breakfast, Dave, with the same breakfast, 12 consecutive shows.
I've had the same breakfast every single morning since
your like Jimmy Butler with Chipotle. Is it Mikal Bridges with Chipotle too? There are numerous.
I don't know.
There are numerous NBA players who eat Chipotle for every meal. How does that work? They're not worried
about like the lettuce. I mean, this is what I don't understand any of these guys. It's like when I hear like, Dwight Howard eats a pack of candy, like a box of candy before he plays basketball. It's so weird to me that you have all this money and all of these resources and you're eating Chipotle.
I mean,
like
part
better
of it,
to yourself.
Part of it is a lot of them are just super young people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you don't go through I'm mid 40s and like I need to do one of those bar graphs, like those bar graphs over time that they do. Yeah. It's like all-time NBA blocks leaders up and down. My bar graph race of food I've eaten through the decades of my life. Like, what's the most common food you ate? And it would be like early 20s, animal crackers.
I've always been a big rice and whatever guy, right? Like, this is a byproduct of playing sports and being in the gym and all that stuff. But I don't know. I did have Chipotle the other day for the first time in like 3 years.
Yeah.
And, with no meat, which was an experience.
Yeah.
The meat really does a lot of work for Chipotle. I'll just put it there. Like the other stuff, not much to it.
It's heavy lifting for sure. My breakfast. Oh, when's the last time I went to Chipotle?
No. Breakfast.
It's sad because I was a big Chipotle guy. Through the years of Fast Break Breakfast, I've gone the full gamut of like I ate at Chipotle all the time.
Dude, when I lived in Europe, man. Yeah. All right. I lived in South Korea and then I moved to Europe. And my buddy that I rode motorcycles with, he and we searched all over the place for decent Mexican food, period, right? Yeah. In Europe. It's hard to find. I actually had Mexican at this place in the Czech Republic on the Polish border. And that was the closest to decent that I could find. and it was awful. They opened a Chipotle in Frankfurt, and I'm not this guy. I'm not like gonna go line up for anything. And me and my buddy hopped on our bikes and we rode 2.5 hours to get a Chipotle burrito. It might have been the best burrito I've ever had in my life.
That's amazing.
It was awesome. Yes. So I don't want to disparage Chipotle, but Chipotle is for us. Like, you guys are too rich, man. Like, don't be into Chipotle. Be into having your private chef make you a burrito.
My breakfast. I'm still dealing with the flu. I've had the flu. This is my flu game. I got a flu shot
flu?
and got the flu. What in the Jaylen Brown is this? That's not cool. What is
RFK is going to get to the bottom of that.
Yeah, what does RFK say about that? No, but now most of my symptoms have gone, except I'm a little bit stuffy and I'm on the upper spectrum of my nasaliness. However, the flu medicine they give me, it just makes me feel icky.
Is it a liquid?
No, it's just Tamiflu, just tablets. I feel like it's making me slightly nauseous. And
I've never taken anything for the flu. I've always just had to like grip and rip and ride it out. Now, I haven't had the flu in a long time.
Well, thankfully. I mean, you and Jaylen Brown agree with this approach. They have antivirals that you can take as long as you're like,
who goes to the doctor, Keith?
I went to the doctor. I sort of live with one. And then she's like, go get a flu test and maybe you'll get the antiviral because it's been the whatever. It's early with the onset of symptoms.
Yeah.
But like
and you're
right
not
now,
in big flu season either.
Right now, my feeling is I'd be fine with just like the slight body ache feels better than this. I don't, so
yeah.
Tough situation.
Need a hot tub, man. Go like get in a hot shower or I don't know. Do you have access to a sauna?
No.
That would probably make you feel so good.
I don't have access to
sweat it out.
Do you have access to a sauna?
Yeah, I do sauna every day, man.
Okay.
After I lift.
It's your little athletic club?
At my rock climbing gym.
There you go. So I had some plain Cheerios. I had a little bit of yogurt, some strawberries.
Nice.
Trying to.
Do you put the Cheerios? Did you do those in the yogurt?
I started doing it. This yogurt was not very good. This was not a name brand. This was a Kroger. Had more of a artificial flavor to it. Mm-hmm. It's a little too saccharine. It wasn't great, but that's what I'm working with now. And I'm also drinking a blackberry lemonade sparkling water.
Ooh. So I've had that one. That's a Waterloo.
This is a Waterloo. It's fun.
Very good. That's a good flavor.
I think I've said this before. I rank my sparkling waters based on the intensity of the carbonation. And Kroger
spicy.
Kroger brand, maybe it's a cost-cutting measure. Maybe there's more air than water in there, but the Kroger brand, just plain water, is like the most carbonated thing ever. And I love it. I'm just like, this is the best right here. Anyways, one more cough, and those were our breakfasts. And after our breakfasts, we move to our breakfast in bed apologies. This is my chance to make right anything we got wrong on a previous episode. Not a lot of factual errors. Last episode
not a lot of
as
facts.
Well. Not a lot of facts either. I can say I'm sorry that we're a day late on this episode. Of course, that was the flu. I think I got the flu specifically as like a karmic punishment for making fun of Luke Kennard for missing so many games to illness. Like Luke Kennard has missed so many games to illness this year, and I'm like, he doesn't even get hurt. He just doesn't play.
Everybody's been sick, actually.
Everybody's been sick.
A bunch of
it's
guys
fine.
Sick. It's not.
No one's gotten COVID, though.
Don't worry. It's not COVID.
No one's gotten COVID in the NBA in years. It's a miracle.
Who's going to be the first player to get the bird flu?
Rudy Gobert.
You think?
Also,
Aaron Rodgers.
By the way, my cat Dorothy would like to apologize for calling the Grizzlies frauds last episode. She nailed it initially because the Grizzlies they blew that game to the Mavericks.
Yeah,
last week.
But they picked up the win against the Celtics.
But then they beat the Celtics.
So although it was back-to-back for the Celtics. So.
It was a back-to-back for the Celtics. But
it's tricky.
No Vince Williams Jr. for the Grizzlies. So no, it was an amazing game. By the way, for the Mavs loss, I don't just hear enough national commentary. Was there any outrage over the free throw disparity? This is an under-discussed, maybe turkey bacon conspiracy. where the
was it like?
Mavericks snuck their way into the NBA Cup
Yeah.
thanks to 26 fourth quarter free throws. I mean, is that not something? A 44-14 free throw disparity, 26-3 in the fourth quarter, and all of a sudden, oh, look at that. The Mavericks are the wild card team.
Everybody shoots too many free throws.
Yeah, all right.
Again, we just got to take away the free throw. Make every foul a point for the other team. Point and the ball. Take an inbound. It's a team point. Then we can get rid of these. I've got
to give you a list of things not to mention on the show, and
we can get rid of grifters.
I've decided your team point free throw. It's just three straight shows. It's not testing well. It's not going over well with the audience.
Just tired of these guys being grifters, man. Like I'm sick of it. You're wasting my time with the free throws. They need it for rest, though. The game would suck otherwise.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. We actually need some stoppages. Have you seen what the games look like when the players get tired? Although, frankly, it's a little entertaining when they're slipping and sliding and falling all over the place.
Desperation basketball is fun.
Let's take a break, Dave, and then we'll come back and we'll discuss some of the biggest events of the past week. All right, Dave, I think the biggest thing that happened in the last week, my personal opinion, the Wizards stopped their 16-game losing streak.
How did they beat the Nuggets?
I mean, they turned it over to Jonas in that game. Jonas got up for playing Nikola Jokic. I mean, maybe Jokic got the upper hand with his 56 points.
Yeah.
But and scoreboard, brother.
With 48.
Scoreboard. Valanciunas had a double-double with 5 blocks. I mean, that's doing something.
Who's trading for him?
I hope somebody. Yeah, the Wizards kind of comfortably beat the Nuggets. I mean, I know it was single digits for a while there.
Yeah.
Jokic with the unbelievable back-to-back statistical games. Now the Nuggets roller coaster, we're back down in a dip. We were panicked. And then we're like, oh no, they're great. Jokic can win with anybody. And now we're back, kind of swooping back down to the panic.
I mean, you can't lose to the Wizards without, we're at like DEFCON 1.
I'm checking my preseason power rankings.
Problem.
I had the Nuggets around 9th. I got them at 10th. So I got them at 10th now. So I went up, I went down, I'm back down. I don't know.
It's because of the expectation. When you have a player the caliber of Nikola Jokic, you just expect them to compete.
Jordan Poole had 39 in that game. It was like the most alive he'd ever seen. And then I will say the next game against the Grizzlies, the Wizards, after they won, they basically did 1, 2, 3 Cancun. They were like, we did it. We did it. We're good. The Grizzlies came into the game specifically. Their game plan was to shut down Jordan Poole. And the Grizzlies they sixed Jalen Wells on him. Jordan Poole did nothing. Scoreless in the first half. Took 6 shots all game. Wizards lost by 35. He had 9 points, like two assists. Incredible stuff. That's what
they won the title.
They won against the Nuggets on like a Serbian heritage night too. Like they had a bunch of Serbian dancers at halftime. Hey, the Wizards did it.
Amazing.
The Wizards are very bad with no honor. What do you think's the biggest thing from the last week? I mean, I don't feel like there's been a lot of movement. I feel like there's been maybe panic with the Lakers a little bit. I feel like the Hawks are getting respectable. Is there any other major storyline?
I think like a lot of people are probably thinking this week, and especially because you got the Bucks playing an NBA Cup, but like the Bucks being back. Chris Middleton came back, and he looks okay, and they've just made more sense since he's been out on the court. I think that's probably the biggest story right now. But Keith, this is it's funny because we talk a lot about how mid-January to the All-Star break, and then after that you've got like that next month that everything is kind of feels like the dog days.
Yeah.
The couple of weeks, and this is where the NBA Cup is actually a great idea. This couple of weeks from Thanksgiving to Christmas, it's pretty slow. You notice a lot of guys like miss a game here, miss a game there. We start hearing, oh, tendonitis. These guys are sitting out. We're about to get the push to Christmas post
Mhm.
NBA Cup. So I don't know. I think like the Bucks are probably the biggest story right now because not a lot happening. Although the Jimmy Butler stuff.
Yeah, so there's trade rumors. I mean, I guess I give the Bucks credit for like the close loss to the Celtics.
Yeah.
They wore out the Celtics for the Grizzlies. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But they did
Hey,
run into the Hawks, and the Hawks. So the Hawks had won 6 straight, and then they got
yeah.
destroyed by the bounce back Nuggets playing without Jamal Murray. That was an impressive win from Jokic and the
Yeah.
crew. Yeah, I think you're right. There's a weird, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the schedule. The way the schedule has been so strange, where I feel like as a viewer, it's been kind of odd. And you have all these piles of games on weird days and then no games. And I know that they're spreading it out for the NBA Cup. The NBA Cup, I do enjoy.
Yeah.
However, I am confused from a strategy perspective why the NBA has scheduled. So on Sunday, up against an NFL Sunday, there was something like 12 or 13 games.
Yeah.
And then next Sunday, going up against NFL Sunday, there's another 12 or 13 games. Why is the NBA playing 12 games on Sundays in the NFL season? That feels very, very strange. Then the actual NBA Cup semifinals and finals. Is there anticipation for fans to travel to Vegas? Because who can go to Vegas from a Saturday to a Tuesday?
Wednesday. But also to make the decision on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah. Like who can, is this just for like Vegas is a big cosmopolitan tourist city and whoever's there, there'll be enough random fans. Last year, it was the Lakers.
Right.
Which is a huge win for the NBA and Vegas because Vegas is just full of Lakers fans. And also it's a short, you could drive in like that is not going to happen this year.
They won a Super Bowl, you know, and they want this. This is why they're constantly trying to quote unquote fix the All-Star game. They want these tentpole events that they just don't have because they don't have single elimination stuff. Right. So this is their attempt. But 1:30, what is it? 4:30 Eastern is the start time. That's a great idea on a Saturday. That's awesome. Great. That's a win. First game starts at 4:30 Eastern. Second game's at 8:30 Eastern. It's early enough that kids can watch. It's early enough that people in Europe can watch. That's fantastic. Why is the final on a Tuesday?
I mean, because I'm really guessing because of Monday Night Football.
Football, yeah.
Bears
money doesn't make any.
I'm confused by, and like, what if the final is? I mean,
Orlando
Magic versus who? Is it Thunder? Is Thunder the worst?
Thunder would be maybe the worst as far as like fans traveling. I don't know, a lot of oil and gas money there. So, it's a quick flight, Southwest, you know.
I mean, if you want to be a conspiracy theorist, you're gonna guess they're going to want the Magic to lose to the Bucks.
Oh yeah.
You're going to guess
you want Mavs.
You gotta have Mavs.
You want Warriors.
You definitely want Warriors.
And you want Knicks, but you're gonna get Hawks because the Hawks are built for this, baby.
Trae Young is built to take out the Knicks.
I was playing with this idea the other day, but like Trae Young specifically, he is like it's not Steph, right? Steph is the guy I want in a single elimination game, right? Yeah. But Trae Young oddly is high up that list because he could just do something. He has these games like that 30-20 game he had.
Yeah,
it was just like, man, this guy is a magician.
Where the Lakers refused to guard him.
And now that they've got they're back to full health and they've got all these guys that are, you know, kind of long, can switch. I think they're going to give the Knicks a hard time. The Knicks struggle with the switching defense. And again, the NBA is going to hate it, but the Atlanta Hawks are going to Vegas.
Also, Trae has that history in Madison Square Garden.
I know.
So I mean, would Knicks fans rather play this game in Atlanta?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Knicks fans really, I think that the Knicks fans and the Trae Young, like that relationship is one of the most healthy in the NBA.
Yeah.
It's a hate, but it's a good sports hate. And that's how it's supposed to go. You're supposed to hate the other players.
How would you rate the sports hate between we have Knicks, Trae Young,
Yeah.
And then the other NBA Cup matchup in the West, Draymond versus Dylan Brooks, which is some
That's an
intense.
unhealthy.
That's unhealthy. Because I would say, yeah, that's not a respect your opponent. This is fun. We like screaming at each other. That's actual hate.
Yeah. If Trae Young were to get hurt at Madison Square Garden, I don't think those fans would cheer. I think they would probably mostly feel bad. If Draymond Green hurt Dylan Brooks, do you think he'd care?
Oh, if he broke the code?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Forgot about the code. I forgot about the code.
No, the Warriors Rockets that is going to be a rock fight.
There's the two games that they've played this year have been awesome. Awesome.
That could be if the refs get on board. If the refs get on board with last season, end of the regular season and playoffs, we're talking 87, 83.
Look, I don't really like going to games. But man, that would be a game I would love to be at.
Yeah. Both of their defenses are so good. They both struggle a little bit at times on offense. So yeah, that would be a lot of fun. By the way, the Rockets, I don't know, we should come back to this because the Rockets, we've talked about them for 2 weeks in a row about Fred VanVleet's antics. A couple weeks ago, we were like, yeah, he's getting suspended. You can't run up to a referee and stick your finger in his face. And then last week we were like, well, we were wrong. Turns out you can run up to a referee, stick your finger in his face and only get a fine. Like the game after that, or maybe 2 games after it, Ime Udoka charges the ref after the game, like gets in their face screaming at him. Tari Eason tries to run into the stands to fight the fans and security restrains him. And they both get like softer penalties than Fred VanVleet. This is not going to end well. I think you might need to put your foot down, NBA, for the Rockets. If you gave them permission, hey, it costs $50,000 to get in a ref's face and to physically intimidate him. And by the way, you can run into the stands for $20,000. No problem. I don't think it's going to end well. Again, Dave, none of this is conduct detrimental to the league, apparently, according to, it's fine. By the way, this is old men complain about things. We also had 2 ejections last week where the players were walking away from the referees. My guy, Ja.
All right, the Ja one is insane to me. Now, after I see the pointing or whatever after when he's walking to the bench, but,
he'd been ejected. That's a good clarification. He'd already been ejected when he did the point, and he was still walking away.
And he still literally was walking away. He wasn't facing him. He wasn't yelling at him. You know what I mean? He might have been yelling, but not in his direction.
Yeah.
But he didn't foul on the play.
Yeah, it was a missed call.
Is the real thing. It's a missed call. And then they give a tech. And I believe that they couldn't review the foul. It didn't matter anyway because it was a 6th foul, right? But they couldn't review it because of the tech.
I can't.
Is that what happened? I can't figure out why they didn't review it.
It was not his 6th foul. But
it was a second technical.
It was his second technical. He'd already gotten a technical for reacting to another wrong call.
Yeah. So you can't rescind the technical.
So yeah, it was an incorrect call. I was confused, but also maybe I got this wrong. I thought the Grizzlies still had a challenge and just did not challenge the foul call. But
well, we were chatting during that. Yeah.
Regardless, he got ejected. And again, we've said this before explicitly, ejecting stars when they're not like in a fight or like losing their minds running after people is weird. Ejecting stars when they're walking away.
You want them to play, right? Like, the stars don't play enough. The stars don't play enough. And then you throw them out of games. Why do we have a 2 technical foul ejection anyway? Just make it an ejection or not. Like,
yeah. If you do something worthy of ejection, you get ejected.
Get out of here. But I don't know. It's all silly.
Zach Collins got ejected for cussing, and then after he got ejected, he flipped the ref off. It's kind of funny. I think that's $15,000.
Got a fine for it.
A little fine. But also Zach Collins was walking away with his back to the referee, and I have a new idea that came to me this week watching both of these plays happen. And I'm normally the referee defender. However, what if you're allowed to say whatever you want to a referee as long as your back is to him and you're walking away? As long as your back is to the ref and you don't turn your head around. Like if your face and whole body is pointed away from the referee and you're moving, moving away, you should be allowed to say whatever you want.
I don't hate that.
How much DraftKings money did you get from that one? Like that's something saying, just say something while you're walking away. As long as you're walking away.
But if Rudy Gobert does the money sign, it's an immediate fine.
If Rudy Gobert has turned his body around and is walking away, it might be all right. I don't know. The money sign's always a good one.
I don't know though. The way he does it, there's something off about it.
He needs the physical coaching, just like Karl Anthony Towns does.
He has bad hands, even for doing stuff like that.
Yeah, he's got bad hands for.
Are the Grizzlies going to trade for referees. Jimmy Butler?
No.
That was happening?
Why can't we trade for Cam Johnson? I've been talking about this for literally 3 years.
What are the Nets doing, man?
They're winning too many basketball games.
They're too good.
Cam Johnson's better than they dreamed this year. Cam Johnson's been amazing. And I don't know if it's because he didn't have a great season last year, and neither did Mikal Bridges. And obviously when the Kevin Durant trade went down, there were a lot of teams trying to butt their way into that trade and be like, Nets, you don't want to win. Give us whoever. Give us Dorian Finney-Smith, or give us Cam Johnson, or give us Mikal Bridges. Now the Knicks finally pried free Mikal, and it cost him an arm and a leg. But now Cam has been amazing this year. Apparently there's reports out there. The Warriors have asked about him. The Magic have. The Grizzlies have. So but I don't know what's the price, and what are teams willing to pay? Again, years of me yelling for my favorite team, the Grizzlies. Please give me Cam Johnson. He'd be a perfect fit with everything we're doing. But this year he's been better. He's exceeded my expectations. I was like, all right, he's probably 1 or 2 on the opposing team's scouting report. It's like him and Schroeder, I guess Cam Thomas, but
Cam Thomas, yeah.
You're still is he going to be able to be efficient and get his shots off with no one else on the team who's really that good? But so far, yes, he's been amazing. But I don't know.
The Nets could swing the title.
Yeah, legit. Whoever gets Cam Johnson wins. If the Thunder get him, they'll get him, man.
Have everything available, right? They can make the best offer for anybody.
Yeah.
Like when Giannis, when we were all like, well, maybe Giannis is gonna. Could you imagine if the Thunder?
I was adamant the Bucks should never trade Giannis.
They shouldn't.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know what the Nets' plan is right now, because, like you said, if they're going to get to tanking, they need to come up. They need to start
yesterday.
Yeah. There's a lot of teams to try to catch up to, especially if the Pelicans decide to pull a plug or something.
I don't think that they even have a chance to make that decision. It's been made for them. The Pelicans are the plug is. The drain is draining. It's over. Man,
one of the worst things of the week, and we'll hit it in the awards segment of the program, but the DeJounte Murray revenge game against the Hawks. Ugh. Not 2 for 14, and they lose. Now, I know the Pelicans are super injured and horribly injured, and nothing is working out at all. Although Yves Missy's cool.
He's great.
They keep getting cool dudes. They got Trey Murphy and Herb Jones.
It's one of those.
Only they hadn't traded Dyson Daniels.
They kind of got another one of these teams, kind of like Brooklyn, right? Where it's, you like so many of their parts, but do you like how it comes together? Absolutely not. Although Brooklyn, it's coming together just fine. Maybe Brooklyn just has a better coach.
I am surprised how it's coming together for Brooklyn.
They've got a really good coach.
Yeah. I was thinking how much Jordan Fernandez, just how inspired he is, probably to not be coaching Canada basketball anymore. Yeah. He's don't have these dead weights on my team. He's got some
real players now. He's got some real FIBA players.
I don't have Jamal Murray anymore. I got a point guard who wants to go, and Dennis Schroeder who wants to give it his all. Yeah. What were we even talking about?
We were going to talk about Jimmy Butler.
Oh, Jimmy Butler on the Grizzlies. Yeah. No, I don't. How do you trade for Jimmy Butler? Why do the Heat do it now? The Heat are actually.
He's got a year left, right? So he can opt in this summer.
But the Heat just. They beat the Lakers by 40, and then they won. They beat the Knicks.
I'm guessing this is Jimmy Butler putting this out there.
Okay.
Not the Heat.
Yeah. Is it a bad sign when he changed his hair from red to blue? Blue's not a Heat color. That seems
No.
seems like a bad sign.
Yeah, but colors don't matter in the NBA anymore. I turned on the Cavs and Nuggets, and both teams had blue jerseys on. I,
Yeah.
it took me a second to figure out,
I
who
don't
was who.
with the restrictive rules of the new CBA, all this first apron garbage.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler's contract, that is a hard one to match up to find a team that would want to do that. I mean,
Brooklyn.
can the Timberwolves
He could go not play in Brooklyn.
reroute a Julius Randle? And how do they? The Timberwolves, I don't know. I think they're gonna be fine.
Oh yeah, mostly.
There's a lot of teams where I'm
like,
but the teams that normally make these big splashy things, like, I don't think they're going to be able to. I feel like the Lakers are obviously always a team that they're going to try to put together something. They have contracts that you can add up. If people still believe in Austin Reeves as being better than he actually is, D'Angelo Russell's money.
Get some Cam Reddish in there.
I mean, you got Jared Vanderbilt money. You got Gabe Vincent's money.
How does
Rui
Jimmy
Hachimura's
Butler,
money?
LeBron and AD even? I don't think so.
Have you seen this stat that the Lakers have or LeBron James has a negative on-off net rating differential for like the first time in his career?
Yeah.
Where the Lakers are much worse when he's on the court. On-off net rating, can be squirrely. It is deceptive at times. It might tell you someone like Dylan Brooks is amazing when your eyes are telling you otherwise. Who knows which way's right?
Right. I think the thing about the LeBron stuff is when you watch him play, like it's clear, like he's lost a couple steps the last few years.
Yeah.
He's not good enough to be the rising tide that he was.
Although that chase down block on Dyson Daniels, it was like the LeBron of old.
He can still go into the well, right? And I think like he can still win basketball games. Like he's still a winning player, but you got to have better guys around him. This isn't LeBron of 5 years ago where he could carry, some scrubs. That's over.
And also AD had like 2 bad games in a row and they just got trucked. That was the Heat game was one of them, and then I can't remember who the other
one was. Does AD jog? Like, does he ever go jogging?
He
think he ever runs? Yeah, like, I mean, come on, man. Why are you so tired?
It's a hard game. They're not calling the fouls. He needs to rest on the free throws. I said the Blazers last week. I said the Blazers had a pulse because they'd only played Western Conference teams and surprisingly won 8 games to that point.
Mm-hmm. Then what happened?
They somehow lost to the Jazz by 42. The conclusion, as always, is I'm an idiot. How do you lose to the Jazz by 42?
3-pointers, man.
You played DeAndre Ayton one time. It's like a meme. You played DeAndre Ayton one time. This is what happened.
You get dominated.
The Jazz have 5 wins.
The variance. Look, the 3-point variance thing is just gonna give us some crazy. I mean, the Wizards beating the Nuggets.
It's true.
Up is down, man.
Is the 3-point variance why the Pacers are an embarrassment?
Are they an embarrassment, or are they exactly what I said they were, Keith?
What did you say they were? Remind me.
I said they were a play-in team. They're not
worse than a play-in team.
Look, last season was built on a bed of lies. Like, I mean, it was just not a good team. They never played
sit on a throne of lies.
That's it. And they never played any defense until the playoffs, which, by the way, I gave them a lot of credit for their change in scheme and adding ball pressure. But this is not like a really good basketball team. I think Tyrese Halliburton was always kind of overhyped, and that's part of it. Now, he also looks hurt. So who even knows? I mean, I think it's not fair for me to say he's not that good when I know he's hurt. So I don't know. They look like a play-in team to me last year. I thought coming into this year they were going to be a play-in team. Like they have an identity crisis. Like, who's their best player?
I'm very sensitive to.
I know how they act, but Pascal Siakam is their best player.
Oh, and he was the best player in the playoffs.
And he's been their best player since he got on that team. And I think like some of the structural changes they need to make should highlight that.
I was going to say, I'm very sensitive to you saying Tyrese Halliburton looks hurt because of that time that a homeless guy, I was walking in Memphis going to a Grizzlies game, just based on my gait. He asked me where I served as if I had a war injury. I was like, I've never been in the military. This is just how I walk. My feet hurt sometimes. Yeah, Halliburton,
pro wrestling walk.
Halliburton shooting like 31% from three. Here's some of the worst 3-point shooters that you don't.
But he's in a watch commercial though. I don't know if you've seen. I mean, here's
some of the worst 3-point shooters that you don't recognize percentage wise. And of course, percentage is misleading as long as you're shooting them, and the hard ones are. Most important thing is the volume, getting them up. You stretch the defense, but still, like, you got Halliburton, horrible percentages.
Missing like 9 threes a game or something.
Trae Young is always at like 32%. Maxi's not making 3-pointers this year. Maxi's like 29%. Some ugly stuff.
It's harder when you're the number one guy on the scouting report.
Also, Klay Thompson stinks. I'm just kidding. It's never the Mavericks win over the Grizzlies. I couldn't even enjoy the fact that Klay Thompson was terrible that game and barely played. Couldn't even enjoy my delicious hatred of Klay Thompson.
Where's he next year?
The funniest opinion I saw this week about the Pacers was saying that both teams lost the Halliburton Sabonis trade. I'm like,
that's pretty. Yeah, I don't know.
I think the Kings are going to be all right. Malik Monk started making some shots. Kevin Huerter made some shots. Keegan Murray made some shots. All of a sudden, it looks better.
In effectiveness, I'd say Sabonis and Halliburton, you're almost like, it's almost 1 for 1 on that trade. And actually, that's not fair to Halliburton. He's a better player than Sabonis.
I don't know. Yeah. I would take Sabonis now.
Okay, well, Sabonis is not walking like, like his back isn't connected to his hips.
The Eastern Conference, as far as the games against the Western Conference, the conference battle, the East is gaining ground. I think we were sort of cheering for the West to keep winning 70% of their games. The East has had a few winning weeks now, and currently the West only has a 58% win percentage against the East. So not excited about that. Just wanted to update that total. Let's actually answer now some listener submitted questions, Dave. Got a couple of good questions. I'm excited about it. This is the croissant. Any questions? Questioner.
Yes. Are you going to finish that croissant?
Patrick Kirtner asks,
knock yourself out.
Will Larry Markkinen appear in a playoff game before his 30th birthday?
How old is he?
He's 27. He turns 28 in May.
Yes.
So we're talking about, the question is essentially, will the Jazz make the playoffs next year or the year after?
No.
So your answer is now no.
He's going to be traded.
Oh. He's going to be traded to win.
Oh, next summer.
I mean, so this offseason they're going to trade.
That's my guess.
Yeah. When they
do you keep a 28-year-old in his prime that you've got locked down to a pretty reasonable contract when you're tanking? It just doesn't make any sense. And I understand that he fits culturally in Utah.
Yeah.
He's a star in Utah.
Sure.
Right. I understand.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah. But
so if they're going to keep him,
I don't see how they make the playoffs in the next 2 years.
His value keeps going down.
Right.
His value this year, and he's not eligible to be traded this year based on when he signed his extension. But his value right now, in my estimation, is less than it was last year.
Right.
And
now you can't get like Moses Moody or Jonathan Kuminga or, you know what I mean? Like those guys aren't there.
So I saw, I'm going to cite Owen Phillips again. Cited him last week. Maybe I cited him on Grits and Grinds. I like his Substack a lot, but he called Larry Markkinen tall CJ McCollum.
Pretty good.
And I never thought of that. I thought Larry was a more impactful player, but I've always kind of liked CJ McCollum too.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, maybe it's not terrible. I don't know. He's been removed from winning so much. We give him so much credit for the previous 2 years where the Jazz were exceeding expectations.
Right.
Where he was just so dominant. He hasn't
But
looked
now
dominant.
He's got that stink on him.
Yeah.
They're awful.
They've explained to him life is meaningless and you're just going to be here and we're going to lose games. And
take the money.
We're going to listen, we're going to pay you a lot of money and
You're
we're going to
low cost of living area.
We're going to light 3 years of your prime on fire.
Unfortunately, the air quality is awful.
So all right, if he gets traded next year, you would assume the team trading for him is a team that has playoff aspirations. Otherwise, you wouldn't trade for him.
Yeah.
So I think the odds. I think if I break it down this way, if he stays on the Jazz, low odds of making the playoffs next season. However, in the following season, anything can happen in the NBA. Yeah. 8 out of the 15 teams in the West make the playoffs. So, like, sure, it could happen as long as we're not including the play-in. I would give it so let's say 5% chance next year and like a 30% chance the year after. So that's still low odds. But then when you factor in the chance he gets traded this offseason, which I do believe, like you say, is significant, I think it comes out ahead where it's like, maybe it's a coin flip. It's a good question because it's possibly a coin flip. Then in the next 2 seasons. Yeah.
If you're the Bucks, if you're the Bucks this summer and you're going to retool everything around Giannis and probably it's time for Giannis to move to the 5, I'd be trying to talk to them about Lowry. Lowry at the 4 next to Giannis.
The Bucks can't trade anything.
I think that
they give him AJ Johnson. There's no.
They could get creative if they're willing to move on.
I don't think the Bucks would ever be able to pay Danny Ainge prices. Yeah,
they don't have the picks.
Let's do another question. This is from the question master Magnus. Does Devin Booker being 1 for 9 without Durant spark joy for you, Keith? Or have you moved on? So this question specifically for me, for history or context, if you don't know, I've had a long running feud, a one-way feud with Devin Booker. And now that he is 1 and 9 without Durant, does it spark joy? Nah, I've moved on. Turns out I've moved on. I guess I don't.
You like the Suns too. Like, be honest. Like, you like that Suns team.
This Suns team right now?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they'd be good.
Right.
I was high on them in the preseason. I thought they'd be quite good. But no, honestly, I should be doing more victory laps about the Suns being 1 and 9 with Devin Booker without Kevin Durant. What is a player like Devin Booker? I mean, what other NBA superstars would you accept going 1 and 9 over a 10-game stretch?
He's an Olympian.
He's an Olympian, Dave protests. Yeah, it's true. No, but he has competent teammates right now.
Yeah.
It's not like he's surrounded by absolute nobodies. No, I've moved on, which is probably good, but Magnus is now letting me know that maybe I should not have moved on. This is a guy who didn't win 3 straight games for the first 6 or 7 years of his career. How is that possible if you're any good?
Amazing. They went 8-0. They went 8-0 in the bubble, though.
The bubble's not real. It got Monty Williams paid $70 million. Chris Paul in the bubble got Monty Williams the ability to pull off the greatest coaching heist of all time, taking all that Pistons money. No, they did go 8-0 in the bubble. It's the first time Devin Booker had a winning streak. Yeah, the Suns, man. The Suns without KD, not good. Losing to the double oblique injury Magic. I mean, I know Jalen Suggs is a baller, but like maybe beat the Magic when they don't have their main 2 guys.
Nobody.
Yeah. What's my guy Tyus Jones doing out there, man?
Not enough.
Not enough. It's almost as if there's like some kind of hex that goes on you when you accept that minimum contract.
No, honestly, no. Keith, it's something else. There is a different level from being the best backup point guard to being a high-level starting point guard, which is what we expect from Tyus Jones, right? I think like being the sixth man on one of these championship contenders is not as difficult as trying to be a starter on a championship. I mean, we know that. But that gap is bigger than we think. Monty Morris, like we saw it with him, like these guys that don't turn the ball over a lot, we're like, oh yeah, they're caretaker point guards. They're great off the bench. I think that they don't have enough. There's not enough juice there. I need to see more from Tyus Jones. Like I thought he was going to be better.
Yeah,
I thought it was an opportunity issue.
Yeah, I'm really confused because like I mean I think Grayson Allen started the year slow, but he's coming on it's coming on fine now. But like
he's been incredibly solid for them.
Yeah, recently. Oh, yeah. Also, speaking of solid, I don't think we've mentioned it on air, and that's a big oversight.
Grayson Allen
omission by us. How much weight that Grayson Allen gained?
He put on 10 pounds.
He is huge.
Yeah.
He's enormous. Like his arms are almost bigger than Nurkic. Like he ate all of the weight that Nurkic lost.
Yeah, he put on like 10 pounds. Not like 10 lean pounds, but he put on like 10 pounds.
That dude is so bulky.
He was big.
Maybe that was the slow start. He's like, I don't know how to shoot with these huge arms.
He's out of shape.
It took him a while heavy. It took him a while to figure it out. No, yeah, I gave a lot of credit to Budenholzer and Tyus Jones and thought that like they could tread water no problem. Like as long as Devin Booker's there, they shouldn't be abysmal without KD. So far they've been abysmal.
Bad.
Finally, another question for Magnus. The over under 24.5 points per game for Tyler Hero by the end of the season. This is also a good callback question because I made a famous bet about Tyler Hero points per game, and I learned my lesson. I will never take the under on a Tyler Hero points per game bet. Right now, he's averaging 24.2 on an absolute heater. As the Heat, again, rounding into shape. I mean, I have trouble dreaming of Jimmy Butler trades. Like, what are the Heat? Like, what's your return? I can't even imagine who the suitors are.
Teams that are usually like the Heat should be trying to win a title. They don't often trade away their Jimmy Butlers, you know?
So I would guess that there's some talk about the Mavericks, which I don't.
No, that doesn't work.
I don't get it.
It doesn't work. It doesn't.
I mean, are you allowed to trade Klay Thompson? Because all right.
Okay, yeah. Okay. But yes. But then who spaces the floor for Kyrie and Luka? Like Jimmy Butler just takes the ball out of their hands. And frankly, he's not as good of a decision maker as either of those guys. He doesn't have as much juice off the dribble. I mean, he's great at getting to the free throw line. But Luka's better at that. I don't get Jimmy Butler there. I mean, the places where he fits, they don't really, I don't know. Is Jimmy Butler good enough for us to even have this like hypothetical trade segment? Like, is he going to affect the outcome of the play of a playoff series, you think?
I think he could. I don't, how could you put it past him?
But
how could you put it past him?
But what team does he fit on, right? Like, I can't come up with a team where he doesn't come in and disrupt what they're already doing.
The three teams that are being linked in all these rumored things, three teams, it's the Mavericks, the Rockets, and Warriors. I could definitely see it making a difference on the Warriors. On the Rockets, I feel like it kind of exacerbates their current problems, which is shooting.
Yeah.
They need shooting.
Well, the Warriors need shooting too, but he can work around it.
But the Warriors have shooters on the roster at the very least. Right. I feel like the Warriors more so need scoring, which Butler should be able to provide.
Yeah.
The problem with the Warriors too is just every one of their players is kind of a 4 outside of Curry, and Jimmy does not alleviate
Curry's
that.
A 5.
Yeah. Eddie Curry? The Rockets thing I don't get because also like what are the things going out? I would hope it would just be picks, but also it seems like the Rockets are building something. Just like keep those picks, man.
Everybody's going to be asking for Tari Eason.
Don't trade my Tari.
It's going to be a huge mistake.
You got to keep those. The Terror Twins? Tari Eason and Amen Thompson, you can't touch them. Well, I mean, what if you put Reed Shepherd out there? That guy was the.
You mean, is he available? Like,
that's what I'm saying. What if you dangle Reed Shepherd?
Hey, if you're Miami, I mean, that definitely would be interesting.
Well, I assume you do that immediately.
For sure.
That would be the question. Would you short circuit? I mean, if I'm the Rockets front office. Well, here's the thing, Dave. You and me, all the people that we know in the Rockets front office are not trading Reed Shepherd.
They're not trading
Reed Shepherd.
No.
But then you wonder who has final call, who's the where does the buck stop with the decision makers there? But like, it seems like the Rockets have built this thing organically. They did not make desperate trades. They did free agency and they did great drafting. And now their team is really good. I mean, they're an NBA Cup quarterfinalist for Pete's
right.
sake.
And it means more to them. I just don't know I just don't know what Jimmy Butler does.
Eric Spoelstra has come out and said the trade talks are gibberish. All right, we can move on. The Nets trade talks, not gibberish.
Well, there's just not enough of it.
Not enough of it. Yeah, Tyler Hero. Oh no, I'm taking the under. I don't care. There's no consequences for being wrong. I found out. So under 24.5 points per game.
No consequences for anything.
There's nothing matters. That's what Larry Markkinen's saying right now. Nothing matters.
That's right. Why
am I killing myself to go 20-9?
Don't Google false vacuum decay.
All right. Thanks for the questions, guys. If you want your questions answered on air, you got to be a Patreon supporter, patreon.com/Fastbreak Breakfast. Also, if you join up at Patreon, you get access to an exclusive monthly bonus episode. Plus, you can join the Slack channel. Slack's a lot of fun. We talk about everything in there around the clock. So if you want all that, you want to support the program, patreon.com/Fastbreak Breakfast. It is now time for the awards segment of the program. The International Stackhouse of Pancake Award, given each week to the worst performance in a box score. Dave, we got a few honorable mentions and then 3 nominees. The honorable mentions: Marcus Smart, 1 for 11. We didn't mention the Marcus Smart return game. Unfortunately, he was 1 for 11 and got benched for the god Jake LaRavia. Also, honorable mention, Ja Morant. In the game he got ejected, he was 2 for 13. Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving had 3 for 14 games.
Minus 32 in that game.
Ooh. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Ja Morant, that's the second worst plus minus on record for a game that the team won. Ja was a minus 32 and got ejected, and the Grizzlies beat the Kings. So I'm going to go.
That's why they won.
Exactly. They helped us out. The theory around the Grizzlies is he was sick. He had my flu, and that's why he played so poorly, got ejected. He was a little testy,
Honestly, that tracks.
It tracks. More honorable mentions: Jason Tatum and Drew Holiday in the game against the Grizzlies. Jason Tatum was 6 for 21. Drew Holiday was 8 for 26. Did you see this in the game where the Grizzlies beat the Celtics? The Grizzlies' strategy was just to leave Drew Holiday wide open.
Yeah, with 4 of 17.
4 of 17 from 3. I believe it. I should have looked this up. That might have been a career high in field goal attempts for Drew. 26 field goal attempts. That's bold.
I expect we'll see that in the playoffs.
I don't think it's going to work in the playoffs.
Definitely
I don't think Drew's a guy you can just leave wide open.
No.
I feel like those leave you wide open things, they work like, unless you're doing it to Dylan Brooks, which always works. That works. That's the thing that works one time is psychological warfare in my mind. And then Drew goes into the next game being like, I'm going to murder these dudes. And
right.
he's going to drain a bunch of threes. So I don't know if that'll work again. Anyways, those were our honorable mentions: Marcus Smart, Ja Morant, Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday. Our 3 nominees, as they occurred chronologically through the last week. We have DeJounte Murray, revenge game against his former team, the Hawks. 2 for 15. Did have 7 points, 10 assists, 5 rebounds, 5 steals, 1 block, 4 turnovers, 0 personal fouls. I'm not going to say, Dave, perhaps try. after his 0 personal fouls? Because he got 5 steals.
Right.
5 steals, no personal fouls is kind of awesome. But anyways, 2 for 15. Our next nominee, Bilal Coulibaly. In a loss to the Mavericks, he was 0 for 10. 4 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 4 turnovers, 3 personal fouls. Excuse me. And then Jeremy Grant in a loss to the Lakers. A loss where the Blazers were winning for a lot of it. What do you want to say?
I watched this game. The Lakers broadcast was roasting Jeremy Grant. They're like, this is the guy where they're always saying we should be trading for, and I just don't see it. I was dying laughing. That's actually a good broadcast if you never listened to it, but I was dying because that's exactly how I feel about Jeremy Grant. What did he do?
So here are his numbers for the game against the Lakers. 1 for 12, 3 points, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 turnover, 2 personal fouls.
Yeah, I remember now because they had those stats up with a picture of him, and his picture, like he's like got this great smile, and it's like Jeremy Grant
seems like the loveliest fellow,
right? And then they're just absolutely
just the sweetest guy,
just roasting.
All right, so we're picking between DeJounte Murray 2 for 15, but 10 assists and 5 steals. Coulibaly 0 for 10, 4 points, 4 assists, and Jeremy Grant 1 for 12, 3 points, 4 rebounds.
Yeah, I think it's Jeremy Grant. The 0 for 10 for the thing about Coulibaly, man, I don't like 0 for 10. I would have rather he went 0 for 15. Because he quit shooting at 10.
Dion Waiters corollary.
That's right.
All right. No, I agree with you. This is Jeremy Grant's award. Congratulations, Jeremy Grant, on being this week's International Stackhouse of Pancakes Award winner. And by the way, kudos to me. I'm now a Basketball Reference brand ambassador.
That's right.
Kudos to me. All these years. Got to get that. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you now.
Stathead.
By the way, if you do want to sign up for a year of Stathead, you can get 20% off if you use my code FBBF. So, hey, me being a brand ambassador is going to work out for you as well. I'll put the link in the show notes. So if you want to sign up for Stathead, where you can get all the stats and deep dives and look up all the fun basketball trivia, or for any other sport, if you do an annual subscription, you get 20% off with my code FBBF. All right, Dave.
They're going to get like 100 subscriptions from this podcast, and they're going to be like, oh my God, we should have gotten Keith a long time ago. I mean,
that's honestly what we need.
Do they have a podcast? Because if not, this should just be the official Stathead podcast, right?
I think it should be presented by... They don't want to go the StatMuse route of engagement bait.
Don't do that.
And unfortunately, I feel like I'm not sure how they feel when I post my Jake LaRavia versus Prime Andre Iguodala stat tables. Like, I don't know if that's what they don't retweet those.
Right.
Because that's not really what they're going for.
Are you tagging them in it?
Oh yeah, I know. They like them. Likes are private now on Elon's Twitter, but they like them, but they don't share those. I'm not sure that's what they're trying to be. I think very straightforward.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. But this should be Fast Break Breakfast.
By the way, here's my question. Speaking of Jake LaRavia versus Prime Andre Iguodala, honest to God question, Dave.
Yeah,
is Jake LaRavia the greatest Jake in the history of the NBA?
Is he the only Jake?
Here are the nominees.
And also, when I see his name or see Jake LaRavia, in my head, it sounds like Denzel Washington in Training Day saying Jake.
So the most win shares for any player named Jake is Jake Voskuhl. The center, Jake Voskuhl. I'm certain right now, Jake LaRavia, if we're going to go, it's hard to compare careers. LaRavia's only played 95 games. But right now, peak Jake LaRavia is better than the peak of Jake Voskuhl, who was like a third string center. Next up is probably Jake Layman, who played most notably for the Trailblazers. To me, he resembled the actor who was in this Amazon series Patriot, which I loved. I couldn't get over how much he looked exactly like that guy.
Ponytail?
I don't even know who else. Like, there's Jake Sakalides. And then That's it. Unless, Dave, this is very important. Unless we're including Jakob Pertl.
No.
Does it count?
No. Because Jake is an American name.
Yeah, just saying. We're not even talking Jacob. Like, even if you include Jacobs, not Jakob.
Jake.
If we include JOCOBs, he's still better than all of them. Because we're talking Jacob Gilliard, Jacob Evans. There's nobody. Like, no one named Jacob has ever gotten anywhere in the NBA. And then just straight up Jakes. Did you know, Dave? There was a 30-year gap where there was never a Jake in the NBA.
That makes sense.
From 1972 to 2002,
and
no
now
Jakes.
The Jakes are back. Now that we have the NBA is turning into an upper middle class league. The Jakes are back. You've got a Chet out there. We're about to get a Cooper. I don't know if I'm.
All right,
I don't know if I'm ready for this.
I got to look up this one guy. There's a guy named Jake Bornheimer who played in 1949 and 1950. Nope, he's trash. Looking him up right now. 4.6 points per game. Career field goal percentage, 29.5%. It's pretty solid. I think Jake LaRavia might be the best Jake to ever. If he's the best guy in the NBA, can I now say Jake LaRavia is the best Jake to ever play basketball?
Sure.
If we're not including Jakob.
I don't see why
or any other, I don't know. What's Jake in Russian? Is there any other guys we don't know?
There wouldn't be, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Congratulations, Jake.
It'd be like Jake. It's more of a j.
Let's wrap this up with some look at the movers and shakers across the league. As far as I wanted to compare right now with my sort of mostly private power rankings that I give glimpses of every now and then. I'm going to share the 6 teams that are the furthest from where I had them in the preseason.
Okay.
In my power rankings. So in my power rankings, I only allow myself to move each team a total of 3 spots, either way, up or down each week.
Okay.
It means the drops are not precipitous. I try not to overreact. It also really weighs heavily on my just overall opinion. It takes a while for my opinion to change of a team. Here are the biggest movers from least movement to most movement. The Cavaliers, preseason, I had them 9th. I have them now 2nd. So that's 7 spots. Okay. But nothing weird there. Cavs are still really, really good. They've dropped a few games, but you're going to drop games
21 and
now.
4.
Yeah. They've been amazing. By the way, did you see Evan Mobley had a career high 5 3-pointers in just the first quarter against the Hornets? He had 23 points and 5 threes in the first quarter, finished with a career high 41 points and 6 made 3-pointers. Impressive stuff there. My Grizzlies, Dave, preseason, I had them 15th in the NBA. Now I have them 7th, which even might be low compared to where other people are putting them. They've won 9 out of 10.
2nd in the West.
I mean, Jaylen Wells is good, flat out. Jaylen Wells, Zach Edey, this is just a random weird stat that I just uncovered minutes before we recorded. Their 2-man net rating is preposterously high. You would think, oh yeah, the Grizzlies took 2 rookies and the Grizzlies are 2nd in the West. And oh, by the way, when Jaylen Wells and Zach Edey are on the court together, the Grizzlies have a plus 23 net rating at over 300 possessions. How's that possible? Doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make any sense. Edey's way better than we expected. So,
well, the Grizzlies have won 9 of 11 since Edey went down. These things are not correlated. I'm supposed to tell everybody. The Pelicans, all right, the Pelicans, do they count? I don't know what to do with the Pelicans. Every player's hurt.
Yeah.
Preseason, I was low on the Pelicans. I had them 19th. Now I have them 28th. But what are you supposed to do? The Rockets, I said I was high on, but I had them 15th. Now I had them 6th. So the Rockets, very impressive. Here's the big one. I mean, the biggest one doesn't count, I don't think. It's the 76ers.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they've been a pain to rank in anyway all year with the constant injuries. Did you watch their game on Sunday? The Embiid return game? They beat the Bulls.
Yeah.
I hate watching Joel Embiid play.
It is, it's unfortunate.
I mean, am I just supposed to just wish him well and feel bad for him? It's just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, like
good.
He's unstoppable.
Yeah.
They're winning games now. Their product aesthetically disgusting.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Maxey hasn't been elite yet this year. Paul George is good enough, but like, it doesn't feel like team basketball. And it's just like Embiid just chucking.
They're at the weirdest point where like Embiid came back and it wasn't even a big deal.
What do you mean?
I've just said to myself, okay, he's back today.
Yeah.
When's he going to play again? For real. Because at what point do we even like, I can watch him and he looked pretty good. But if you can't string together 3, 4, 5 games, then what does that one game even do for you?
It's also, I'm trying to think of the comparison. And I don't know if there's a cross sport comparison to be made, but like I'm watching Embiid play. And this was not even like a foul baiting and flopping thing. This was just like, he looks uncomfortable physically. I would say like, he doesn't look like he's playing very well, but he still put up 30 and 10. And you're like, the guy puts up 30 and 10. It looks like he's in terrible shape and is physically hampered, and it's not pleasant to watch. He's not involving anybody else. And I don't know, is that good? Is that bad? And I can't think of another like situation. It's just like late years Shaq, but that doesn't feel quite right.
Yeah.
Where it's like, he's so dominant, but also it's just like, ugh.
It's almost more like late years Patrick Ewing.
Okay.
For me, at least, like, because just the way, like, he looks like it's painful to move.
Yeah. But he's just like, he's so big and he's just like, he's going to make it from 17 feet, like 80% of the time, you know? And so it's just, it's wild to watch. So they beat the Bulls. By the way, this is funny. So the Bulls are going to, you know, every team has like this little mini break. Most teams, at least not in the NBA Cup, had this mini break. And so teams are actually practicing. And Billy Donovan was like, we're going to work on entry passes to get Vucevic the ball. That's like incredible. I love it.
That's awesome.
Anyways, the biggest change from my preseason rankings to right now, not counting the Pacers. I mean, I gave it away. Not counting the 76ers is the Pacers.
Right. It's Pacers.
Preseason, I thought I had them 10th, Dave. I thought they're going to be good. They're not good at all.
No.
And I know they had double Achilles tears to their backup bigs. Maybe that affected them somehow.
If your backup center, if missing your backup center and one of them is James
Aaron
Wiseman,
Nesmith has barely played. I don't know.
That's an issue.
Yeah. So anyway, I had them preseason 10th. I have them now 21st. You would think they're about to string together something because that's what always happens when you get really down on the team.
Right.
Like, all right, here they come. But that loss to the Hornets. I mean, the Hornets
probably
team,
their worst loss of the
Vasa
season.
Micic taking you apart. TJ McConnell looks like your best player on your team. Can't get on the court. Like, yeah. I don't know what to make of the Pacers. Ugly stuff right there. They stink. Anyways, let's shut it down, Dave. We got NBA. We got NBA Cup games to pregame for.
That's right.
It's gonna be incredible. If you guys want to support this program, patreon.com/Fastbreak Breakfast. Listeners, you guys are the best. Thanks for listening. Remember, breakfast is the most important thing.
Yeah, never apologize for being G&G. Fastbreak break, man. You understand?